How do you really know when a political campaign is imploding? When it's down by double digits in the national polls? Not necessarily, President Tom Dewey. When it loses out on the endorsement of the most respected member of the candidate's party in the whole country, a four-star general, former Secretary of State. Well, it's not a good sign, but it's not the seventh sign of the campaign apocalypse. It turns out you know a campaign is in the deep Rancho Cucamonga when the campaign's own people start ratting each other out. In an article in the New York Times Magazine this upcoming weekend, McCain campaign aides, people on McCain's side, talk trash about how badly the campaign is being run. On the subject of debate strategy, specifically Senator McCain's widely panned habit of treating Senator Obama like an overly ambitious 12-year-old, one aide said this, quote, "The object wasn't to appear condescending at all, really the opposite. But you put a bullet in a gun figuring it'll get shot once. We had no idea it would be shot 10 times. Or there's the aide who said a June strategy meeting was called because, quote, "We still couldn't answer the question, why elect John McCain in June?" Not knowing why your own candidate should be elected is pretty bad. Admitting you don't know is really bad. Admitting you don't know to the New York Times before the election, that's called jumping from a sinking ship. And it's not just the campaign staffers taking a nosedive off the straight talk shipwreck. It is also down-ticket Republicans Senator McCain will be sharing a ballot with come November 4th. Take, for example, Senator Elizabeth Dole, who is running a campaign ad that assumes an Obama presidency. It essentially says to vote for Dole so that the Democrats won't win everything.
These liberals want complete control of government in a time of crisis. All branches of government. No checks and balances, no debate, no independence. That's the truth behind Kay Hagan. If she wins, they get a blank check.
In other words, forget John McCain. He's a lost cause. And there's one other person who might just be looking for a little separation from this chronicle of a loss foretold. Remarkably, the other ship jumper may be John McCain's running mate. There's a fine line between maverickishness and plain old running a different campaign from your running mate. She has complained publicly that McCain wanted to abandon Michigan. She's complained publicly that he doesn't want her to talk about Jeremiah Wright. She has complained publicly about the robocall strategy. And then there was the interview this week when James Dobson asked Governor Palin if John McCain supports the Republican Party platform.
I am such a strong believer that McCain believes in those strong planks, and we do have good conversations about some of the details, too, about the different planks and what they represent.
The problem is those party planks are things like support for a constitutional ban on all abortion, a constitutional ban on gay marriage, opposition to government-funded stem cell research. Those are not, in fact, Senator McCain's positions. Another possible sign of the political separation of governor and senator? Well, remember when she never took questions from the press, participated in only a handful of formal sit-down interviews? It's been pretty clear that was part of a deliberate decision by the McCain campaign to keep her from the press. But now Sarah Palin is taking matters into her own hands and subverting the McCain campaign's decision. On Sunday, she deplaned in Colorado Springs and then immediately ditched her press handler, Roman holiday style, to live it up with the media in an impromptu press conference. The most entertaining part of this event is listening to Palin's purported spokesperson, Tracy Schmidt, trying her best to end the press availability. How many thank yous does it take to stop Sarah Palin from answering questions? Check it out.
Thank you very much, everyone. Great, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Great. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
So campaign staffers stabbing each other in the back to the New York Times. Republican senators leaving McCain for politically dead. And Palin apparently running her own campaign without John McCain. What's going on here? Joining us now is LA Times columnist and Georgetown University law professor Rosa Brooks. Rosa, it's nice to see you again. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be here, Rachel.
McCain is talking openly now, sort of gleefully, about how the media has written him off. But do you see the pattern that I'm seeing about Republicans and his own campaign writing him off?
You know, I was thinking that the Republican ticket is sort of degenerating into a sort of really savage version of a reality TV show, you know, like where everybody pretends that they're on the same team, but in fact they're all trying to undermine each other in these subtle ways that are getting less and less subtle. You know, that's what it seems like. I mean, you know, Sarah Palin is just waiting for McCain to get voted off the island, so it'll be her turn.
There's a theory among the staff on this show that what we are seeing in the McCain campaign right now is what we saw when the Hillary Clinton campaign started losing to Senator Obama, that they started to do all the same things, all the same symptoms. Are you seeing that pattern?
Absolutely, and it's at the point where, you know, they get desperate, they start doing crazier and crazier things. This is the equivalent, if take with my analogy the reality show, this is where everybody starts eating rats to survive. And the problem for John McCain is he doesn't actually like to eat rats, and it shows. You know, he eats a rat, he makes these robocalls, he brings up Bill Ayers during the debate, and he looks like he's sick to his stomach when he's doing it, because it doesn't come naturally. The problem is Sarah Palin loves to eat rats. She's eating more rats. She's saying, here, John, have another rat. He gets queasier and queasier, and she gets stronger and stronger. It's every pit bull for himself on the McCain-Palin ticket right now.
It's a heck of an image.
Yeah,
I feel a little queasy thinking about it, but I think it works. But is Palin, I mean, with all the rat eating, is she doing more than just looking ahead to 2012? Is she actually starting her 2012 campaign now and at the expense of the McCain campaign? Yes, definitely to the first question. That's not strange, right? I mean, it is standard for the vice presidential nominee on the losing ticket to be looking ahead to their consolation prize, is thinking about being the front runner. At the top of the ticket next time around. So there's nothing weird about that. What is a little creepy about this whole thing, what does make it sort of appalling to watch, is the savage element to it all, which does look like it's absolutely at John McCain's expense. You know, normally there's at least more of a pretense of saying, and I'm plugging for him and I'll do whatever it takes, and then after the election, after we lose, then the recriminations are going to start. She's getting an early start on this one. Republicans like to pick the person who's the next obvious person in line. And if you are the vice presidential nominee of a losing ticket, that might look to Republican voters like you're next in line. Do you think she is actually a front runner for 2012 if she and McCain lose?
I think it's a really open question, and the big question is what happens to the Republican Party if John McCain loses this election, as he seems likely to do. And here I think there are two possibilities. There's the politics as usual possibility, and there is the sort of the version that says we are at a epochal shift in American politics. There's no question about it that Sarah Palin has really shored up the GOP base, that they love her and she loves them, and she's going to maintain their allegiance. Could she be challenged by somebody like Huckabee? Maybe, but I think she's got about as close to a lock on the GOP base as anybody could have going into this. So the real question is just sort of whether the GOP base, the current GOP base, continues to dominate Republican politics, or whether we're sort of at a moment when all of the Republicans who have fled the party this time around to vote Obama because they're sick of Bush, because they don't like McCain, Palin, do they after this election, do they gravitate back, or do they say, forget it, we're leaving permanently? Depending on which one of those things happens, if they gravitate back into the Republican Party. If Obama has a tough time in his first term, there's a whole series of disasters. People start saying, oh, this didn't work out so well, this experiment voting Democratic, this didn't work out. I think that she could be in for a tough time, because she'll have the little c conservatives back fighting it out in the Republican Party for dominance in the Republican Party. But on the other hand, I think it's entirely possible that group just kind of abandons the Republican Party permanently, in which case Sarah Palin keeps the base, but it doesn't matter because they're a minority party for a pretty long time to come.
And then she can be as pure as she wants.
Be as pure as she wants, and they can have her.
Rosa Brooks, LA Times columnist, Georgetown law professor, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, Rachel.